Welcome to another episode of the Planet Coaster series, and I'm sorry that we're saving, but so what I decided to do for today is I thought it'd be really cool if for the snow area we had a big ol' mountain. Like you'd go up and there'd be tiers, and that's where all of the shops and the rides would be on these tiers of a giant mountain that would be snow covered in the distance when you first enter the park. I've never really messed around with the terrain tools before, so you're gonna see a whole lot of struggling. But I wanted to make sure that it was like flat and so that those tiers would line up perfectly with the stairs. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is kind of do some scaffolding for myself. So like, okay, so this is the height I need the land to be at for it to be right. I'm going to spend a whole lot of time trying to get it so that the curve matches up just right, and that it kind of mirrors the curve of the stuff that's on like the ground level. But I'm going to end up getting rid of all of that because of the way terrain works around paths. So as you can see here, it doesn't go up to the path, it just leaves this certain margin around it. And so what I ended up having to do is kind of guess where the height of the path would be at, and then use the flatten tool. And that's what we've done here, and I'm going to expand it all the way over to the other stairs, and I'm going to eventually turn this into a mountain-ish shape. But it's going to take a while. And then I realized that it was very angled. As you can see at that, it's like not flat at all. I don't know what tool I was using. I think I know now. It's like flattened to that tool, whatever I just grabbed right now. And what that tool seems to do is based off the angle where you click and then copy that angle where you drag it to. So whatever I clicked initially was at that slope, and then I just carried that slope all the way around. So I'm glad I noticed that when I did. This was more of a pain than I could have ever anticipated it being, to try to get it so that these line up just like I wanted them to. I suppose I could have done the curve and then attached the straight stairs. I don't know. I still haven't finished this. When I've finished recording everything, it's still very much a work in progress. It's kind of a big task, that's for sure. So I think we're going to only go up to the second tier. So you go up some stairs, there's this tier, and then you go up some more stairs, and then there's another one. And I think that's going to be the height of it in the end. I really liked the way it turned out. However, when I did go back into live mode and I started letting people move around and everything, it's extremely laggy. The frame rate is garbage. It halters and it stops, and so that's not good. Hopefully, at the end, I will be turning down the max capacity for people coming to visit the park. I'm going to cap it at 1,500 people, and I'm hoping that that will help, but I don't know. I don't know how to help with the lag once it starts appearing. And it's going to be a problem because we're only halfway through the park, you know? We've only finished a quarter of it, and we've barely finished it. So it's not good signs if at this point it's already being very laggy. So, I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. What I'm working on right now is trying to make it so that the slopes make sense. I also really hate when it stops harshly just at the border of the map. So I'm going to spend a whole lot of time doing what I can to make it so that it looks like it flows fluidly, as if that dotted line isn't a giant invisible wall. I think I get most of it done pretty well. Sometimes it does really weird stuff, like digging that hole over there, whereas most times it brings up the land, or at least flattens it. So I don't know why in some of those places it digs it down, but it's fine. I think I get it pretty close to how I want, though the overall slope is still... there's a lot left to be desired, that's for sure. I'm still working on trying to figure out how to make the slopes just work well. And unfortunately, putting in these slopes really changes how much space we're going to have for rides and shops and stuff. The area between the path and the edge up right here, it actually fits buildings really well, so we'll probably have shops all along the outside and then the rides on the inside if we can fit them. We may end up doing some building inside the mountain, some cave kind of rides or something like that. Maybe a roller coaster that goes into the mountain, I'm not sure, but it'd be cool to do like a Santa's workshop or something. Maybe have the ride start inside and it fly out and around and then back in. I like that idea. So that might be what we do, is make like a Santa shop in the inside of the mountain. And then have the sleigh. I think there's like a sleigh coaster or just a track ride that we could use for that. So yeah, this is just a pain in the butt to get to make look anywhere close to acceptable, because I didn't want the slope to be too harsh. And I didn't want any of the weird jagged cuts you can get from the harsh transforming that it does on its own around the ground. Here I'm trying out some of the ground paint, putting in some of the stone and then covering it with the snow just to try to make it look decent. It's hard though because it's such a harsh white. It would make a lot of sense inside of a map that's that color, but on its own it's very blinding sometimes if you get it at the right angle when the sun's just right. So here we're working on filling in the big old space that was left underneath. I probably should have just made that whole area flat and then built up this other tier, but it ended up working out pretty well in the end. But it would have been cool to have a tool that just does a slope between like one end of the circle and the other end of the circle, but that's alright. I did toy around with the idea of having these stairs go up into the ground like that, and I still might with the ride. Maybe this whole top tier leads into that shop. That might be a good idea. Coming up with so many good ideas today. But yeah, we're just working on trying to make it look good. Because snow sometimes has like the blanket blinding look to it, but there's a lot of times where snow still has depth. Like you could still see shapes in the snow. It's only once you get into like fields or something, or where it's actively snowing, where you get that look where you can't tell different shapes from anything else because everything is just so white. It's terrifying to be driving in, because if it's snowing and the sky is just the same color as the ground and the fields are the same color as the sky, it becomes quite a mess. Very hard to see. So I actually just realized I'm going to be moving these stairs. I didn't really want the stairs from the floor to the second tier to the third tier to line up, because then you're going to get crowds where people are walking around the circle are going to have to cross paths with the people who are going up the stairs, and I thought that would cause a lot of congestion in that one, that square where all four paths meet. So I'm actually going to be moving all of those. Right now I'm just trying to get some more of that train paint, kind of where I'm happy with. So yeah, I think there's some certain spots where the ground wouldn't change, and I don't know why they weren't flat in the first place. I don't know why I went back and checked out that train. I don't know if I think right then I realized that I promised to work on the train this time, and I didn't. I think I came up with the idea and then just got too excited, and so that's what we decided to do. So we should probably work on those trains next time, I say tentatively, but I'm pretty sure I promised something else at the end of this episode, so we'll just see what happens. So we're putting in some trees, trying to make them blend into the trees down below. So we sprinkled some of the snow-covered ones a little bit close to the Halloween area. We had a little bit of a dust of snow into that area on the ground. And then we added a couple of trees that aren't covered in snow on some of the sides as well. Yeah, there we go. That's where I decided that I didn't want those stairs. I'm actually going to end up giving up on that task on one side because the circle path around that tier isn't the right shape, and so the stairs kind of end up not lining up well, and I didn't really want to take the time to do that. I've been working on this for quite some time. I think I spent over an hour working on just building up this mountain, and so trying to convince myself to make these paths work like I wanted and not look hideous was just too much of a task that I wasn't entirely interested in working on. Alright, now that you've spent a whole lot of time staring at that guy over there, big old white mountain, looks pretty good at this angle. Kind of liking it. It still needs a lot of work, but we'll see how it goes. As I'm probably have mentioned, things have gotten quite laggy since I built that. So that's a little unfortunate. It's just there's a lot of frame rate problems. So I've gone into the settings and I've capped the number of people who can be in the park. How many do we have in here right now? 1,656. I've capped it now at 1,500. So about 100 people are going to be leaving. Oop, okay, everybody just disappeared. Because it's been fixed, and for some reason that booted everybody out through this end of it. So I guess there's that. We're having quite some trouble with the happiness of everybody. Lots of people are so unhappy that they are leaving. Let's see. This path is filthy. They cannot fix vandalized things. Let's go ahead and go into here and check this. Yes. Let's replace all of the vandalized things that we have right now, just because they're having trouble keeping up with that. Let's go ahead and unpause it. So, bloop, there we go. So we got everything fixed up there. What are people needing? Challenge complete. View challenge. We achieved a scene rating of 280 and we got to $2,000. There's also been an update that came out, a bit of a patch. It came out along with the new DLC, which I do not have, but it's things that came out to support that. There were a couple of changes. I don't know how many of them will apply to us. Walking through litter here. Guests are thirsty. Everything's wrong. Let's see. I hardly remember what I did because I recorded the first half of this video some time ago. I'm sure I mentioned it, but after I did all the work that I did and then the game was hardly running, I kind of got sad and quit. And that's why I didn't end up with a second video last week. Was it's just the lag was so bad and it was just not up to what it needed to be, so that's why that was the case. I don't know what I could do to increase the performance. I might maybe remove some of the stuff in the background. I don't know if that has an effect. I know that having all of these people pathing and having their advanced AI that they do definitely affects how the game runs. So could you not just walk past right here and clean it up? I'm snowed under with tasks. Okay. It's not a phrase I've ever heard. But there we go. Let's go ahead and just replace that, since I can see that it's broken. So a lot of people are very upset. I've been busted by... So he's going home. He did something wrong. Time to leave. Stupid expensive for the jailer's den. That's this guy. So let's check it out. What are we at? 12. So it should be at like 30. Okay. So let's just go down to 35. Let's see. Let's go into the management. The guests are hungry. I feel like there's so many shops. Okay, so established, aging, iron horse, iron... Oh, okay, so those are the two that we have. Man, the magic twirl just not doing so great. Look at that. 1.5 star. The litter is disgusting. Okay, so we clearly need... Where are we? Oh, we're in that. We need another janitor, though I think I added one before. I'm gonna set this guy down, and I'm gonna make his only job. Oh, okay. This is something I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I did in the previous bits, or if I showed it at all. But I believe there has been a clear difference in the default pay of staff members from before they did those changes. I was looking at a chart that I've always used to decide on prices up until this Let's Play. And it shows what the lowest price is where people are happy. And it's almost double what they're starting with. Like, it doesn't list what the default pay is that they start out with when you place them, but it just says, you know, default. But the next tier up, and they only say to increase it like $5-10 each level up, and then it's at like 140, and they're starting at like 60 now, or 80. I can't remember what I just changed. Way to pay attention. But yeah, I think I didn't see it anywhere listed that was something that they changed, but I really think they've changed what the start pay is for people. And I don't know how these will affect the new price changes or the pay changes, so how well that chart works anymore with the new change. That wasn't ever mentioned, or I just completely missed it. I just didn't see it. But either way, there's definitely been a change there, and I'm glad that I noticed it, because I just didn't notice what some of the people I was placing down, I wasn't adjusting their pay, because I assumed it was pretty close to what it should be, or what it used to be, and it's actually like half what it used to be. So I don't want to be training this guy. I want to be making this guy do nothing but clean up litter. That is your one and only job. Did one of those say that their workloads are high? Okay, let's train both of those guys. Huh, his went right up. I wonder if he's in a staff building and he's on his way, so that's good. I will leave that guy for now. We don't want too many people leveling up at once. There we go. So we'll get those guys slowly leveled up until they're got training level of 2. This person's like jumping and skipping. There's a lot of damage in the area. So she's just upset for having seen the broken bins everywhere. Apparently I need to go around and fix the prices of the rides. It's been a couple episodes since I've done that, so I'm not surprised. I think maybe next episode I will spend some time putting up some cameras and maybe getting ourselves another security guy. I think we have 3 right now, yes. I think while he's heading to the staff building, we might as well give him another training level. And we'll get those cameras up and running so that we can see when people are destroying benches or garbage bins. I also saw that there was something in the forums from the developers of the game that actually talked about tunneled pathing, which I find hilarious, being we were just talking about how nice it would be to have those tunnel paths, and I've actually been thinking about creating some, like here at the entrance, where you could choose which season you go to, and it would like, you'd walk underneath up into over here. So you could start out at whatever season you want, and we would decorate the tunnels to match like the theme. And so if that's actually something that's coming out, I'm going to be super excited about that. I don't know if it came out in this new little patch. I guess we could look. I know before you could do something where, like, here, let's see, can we do I think you used to be able to make it so that it would go underground, or you might be able to use the terrain tool and make it, but it looks like maybe they're going to be putting in actual tunnels for the path. They said it was a little buggy, and it was supposed to be coming out. Oh god, hold on. Sorry about that. It was supposed to come out with this patch, and if it didn't, it was because there was something not working well with it, and they wanted to make sure it worked well before actually putting it out into the world. So if that's a thing, fingers crossed it comes out soon so that we can implement it into our park. I'd really enjoy that. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Apologies that it is so late compared to when it should have come out, but I just want to make sure that you guys get the quality that I think you deserve. So, there's a tree through those stairs. So until next time, hope you have a wonderful day.